Hi all, this is Pixelcave, and in this video we want to show you where and how you can farm iron efficiently in Dune Awakening. Iron ore is the next resource tier after you leave the Haga Basin starter zone in the south, and you can find this resource exclusively in Vermilius Gap, which is divided into the western and eastern regions on the map. Now, when it comes to iron ore locations, the basic rule is that you can find it pretty much anywhere around rocky areas and on top of mountains, but you can also find it occasionally in caves and of course sometimes also as loot. The important thing to know is that locations for almost all gatherable or mineable resources in Dune Awakening change on a weekly basis, so there are no fixed locations you can easily map out. This is linked to the Coriolis storm, which occurs weekly and wipes the large deep desert PvP map, and at the same time also resets resource locations on the entire map of Haga Basin. While the locations vary, here's a rough outline of where you can usually find clusters of iron ore in Vermilius Gap. As we mentioned before, iron ore is exclusive to Vermilius Gap and you won't find it in any other zone of the Haga Basin map. Now, what's needed to farm iron ore and how can you do so more efficiently? If you arrived in Vermilius Gap and haven't upgraded your cutter ray yet, you need to craft yourself a cutter ray MK1, which is capable of mining iron ore. Alternatively, if you have followed your journey and completed the contract scrap metal from the Griffin's Reach trade post in Haga Basin South, you should have received a unique cutter ray called Sims Cutter that's also up for the task. While better cutter rays are generally needed to mine higher tier resources, they are also worth upgrading to as they have better mining efficiencies than inferior tiers. So if you can, always get the next better cutter ray for improved yields even for lower tier resources. Oh, and if you have unlocked the planetologist profession, you might want to spend some early skill points in both the cutter ray mining and deep analysis skills to increase your yield further. If you need help with unlocking the profession, we have a guide on our channel. Next, and if you haven't done so already, you should craft and attach an inventory module to your sandbike so you can bring back a larger haul of resources when on a mining trip. Just keep in mind that if your sandbike has something in its storage, you won't be able to use your vehicle backup tool to safely store your bike when traveling. And while you won't have access to it before you reach the steel tier, once you can unlock and craft a buggy, equipping it with a mining laser will be the best way to farm any mineable resource in game. It's the most efficient, and you will also be able to transport home a lot more resources that way. And of course, there's a separate planetologist skill, vehicle mining, that can provide an extra yield. Lastly, resources respawn fairly fast. In the case of iron ore, it should be somewhere between 7 and 8 minutes. So if you can find a relatively good short farming route around your base that takes more or less as long as it takes for iron ore to respawn, then you can farm, deliver your resources at your base, and restart the same route right away. Before we wrap up, converting iron ore to ingots requires water, so ramping up your water production is another essential step to progress. Once you reach the steel tier, you will be able to craft wind traps in addition to your blood purifiers, which will help you immensely with generating large amounts of water passively. However, to move on to the steel tier, you will have to travel to the next zone, Haga Rift, where you can harvest carbon ore, which is required to produce steel ingots. And that's it for our guide to farming iron. As always, if you found it helpful and would like to see more content from us, please consider giving us a thumbs up, leave a comment, subscribe or become a member of our channel.